Hello YouTube, it's me Vdeogamer, and today I will be drawing Orochi from the game Okami. I think that's what it's called. I'm not too familiar with this character at all. I've never drawn this character, which is probably a bad thing because this character has a ton of detail on it. So this drawing should take a very long time. First, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with a sketch outline of where I want the characters to go. It seems as though Orochi is composed of a few different parts. You've got the 8 dragon heads, and then you've got where all the dragon heads combine, I guess, at this little shrine in the background. I'm going to put that in first, and then from there we're going to draw in all the dragon heads. First thing we're going to work on is the shrine in the center of Orochi. This is going to be a fairly simple structure to make. We're not going to put too much detail into it. First we're going to start off with the pillars holding it up. Those need to be sort of thinner than what I originally made them. And then from there we're going to draw in the roof part of it. Sort of going to come up. And then it's going to come back down. It's very lopsided. So on the foundation of it, seems like there's this fire going around it. And then in the center here, you have this large bell-like shape. I'm not quite sure what this is. Then in the middle of the shrine on the roof, we have another detail to it. Seems like it might say what the shrine is, but I can't tell what it says from here. Connect those all together. And this shrine is not very even at all. It seems like it's crumpling down a bit. And even the pillars look like they're having problems. I sort of want to make the stairway go more this direction, since that's the way this shrine is tilted. Just add in some lines to represent the stairs. The first actual dragon head I'm going to start with is the foremost dragon. I'm not sure which of the elements it's going to be, but it's just in the front here. I'm going to start out with where I think the eye should go. We sort of want it to be angry in appearance. It's going to be slanted really down. And the face of these dragons, or the faces of these dragons, are very thin, actually, as I've come to know. But they have really, really sharp teeth. Right about here's the spot where we would put the elemental symbol that they each have. We're going to make this one the fire, the elemental Orochi of fire, I guess. I don't know if I can call it that, but that's what it looks like. And I do not have these characters memorized. I'm actually looking at a couple different pictures to be able to draw this character. So I recommend that you search this character up on Google if you plan on drawing it, because it is very, very detailed. It's crazy detailed. And then the symbol of the fire emblem has maybe a Japanese symbol for fire. I'm not quite sure if that's what it is. There we go. I'm trying to make it a little bit more angry. And it seems as though coming off the sides of this dragon in particular, we have some lines coming off. I'm not quite sure what these are supposed to be. And then at about the point where the elemental symbol is, it stops, and you start drawing in this armor, I guess. It looks like a shield. on either side of its face. Has one on both sides. Because this head is the closest, we're going to include the most detail on this one. All the other ones are in the background, so they're not going to have nearly as much detail. But this one, for the shield, I'm going to start detailing it. It looks like 4 circles. And then it's outlined again. Sort of include that on the other one. And then the rest of the armor sort of has details around that. Each corner has details, and each side has details. For the corners, it seems like a crescent moon, almost. And we're gonna basically do the same thing on the other side. You just won't be able to see as much of it. And then behind the head, we have even more armor plates, it seems. And they just seem to be stacked right on top of each other, one after the other. Sort of like ancient Japanese armor type stuff. Clean up some of the lines in here. We should make the plates closer to the front, a little bit larger. Just so it covers more. Then these armor plates also have details, but not as super detailed as the first few. We're going to draw outlines for all of them. Then inside of them, I'm going to do 3 circles, lines, and then more circles. And it's pretty much the same thing on all of them. Then back here on the body, I'm just going to add in some of the spikes that are on its back. And add in some lines going across the body. And pretty much every single head of Orochi is going to be practically the same. They're just going to have different symbols on top of their heads. And this one's actually looking more directly at you than it is to the side. We're going to start off by just making the eyes. That looks kind of weird at the moment. But basically, we're just going to keep building on like we did for the other one. We just got to make sure that we don't lose sight of where the eyes are. Then I guess I'm going to have this guy as the water head. That sort of looks like that. We got another Japanese symbol in the center of it. And I'm not entirely sure if I'm drawing these right. I'm probably not, but I'm just drawing what it looks like. And then we're going to add in the shield plates on the back, like we did before. And as they go farther away, just make them smaller. And the rest of the body back here. With its spikes. Then some lines going down. We've got the shield type thing coming across their head again. And we're going to have this one be the light element. This one's a little different looking. Instead of it just being one piece, seems like it has rays coming out of it. Now it doesn't quite have these spikes going down all the way along its body in one continuous line. It's sort of broken up every once in a while. And their body looks really, really worn and beat up, very cracked. Not like scales like you would think, but it's just sort of weird. For the underbody, if there ever is any, it pretty much looks the same, except it's going to be red, and it's very, very bulky, I guess. Just like that. And this guy up here, I think I'm going to make him the wind dragon head thing. That symbol's a little bit different. So it sort of curves down like that. Then it curves down again, going across the face. The eye almost looks like it follows that same pattern. Now time for the crazy, ridiculously detailed symbol that I can't hardly draw. It's the best I can do. So now that I've gotten the pencil outline done, what I'm going to do is I'm going to take an ultra fine point Sharpie, and I'm going to painstakingly outline every single line I want to keep on this drawing, which is going to take a very, very long time, but I think it's really going to be worth it. It's really going to clean up the drawing. It's going to make it look 10 times better. So, I'll see you guys in about 30 minutes. Now, since I've finished my Sharpie outline, what I'm going to do is I'm going to erase all the pencil lines on Orochi. And this is where you're going to start seeing the drawing clean up a lot. And yes, outline did take a very, very long time. But I finally got it done, and we're almost ready to start coloring. And then sort of to help this fit the art style a little bit more, I'm going to take a thicker Sharpie, just for the elements, symbols, and stuff. I'm just sort of going to do a little bit of rough edging on the symbols. What we're going to do first for coloring each of these characters, so we're going to first color their emblems for their elements. That way we can just differentiate who is who beforehand. And plus, I just want to get those odd colors in. That way we can move on to the different colors. Whenever you're starting out, just go lightly across the entire emblem with whatever color it may be. For the fire guy, I'm choosing to start out with orange. I'm just sort of layering orange upon it. Just trying to get a very even color. Now what we're going to do is we're going to add a few darker spots every once in a while. You can choose where these are at. Nothing too specific. And then to help darken those spots, we're going to add in some reds. Just a red. And for all of the other characters, it's pretty much going to be a very similar thing. Some of them act differently from others. Each one of them has their own colors. Now the next color we're going to throw onto these characters is the red emblems on their shields on either side of their faces. That's about the only other really bright color we have to these characters. Next thing we're going to work on is the armor on all of the characters. We're just going to start out with a light shade of gray, just to cover all of the armor. Then we're going to start on some actual shading for the characters. Now what we're going to do is we're going to choose where I want the lighting source to be. I kind of want the lighting source to be emanating from the center of the drawing at the shrine, just so that way we have an ambience lighting. But I also want each of their elemental symbols to cast a sort of glow for that color. First, we're going to focus on the main lighting. So that means all our shadows are going to be away from the shrine. And the shading on this drawing does not have to be very even at all. It can be very rough even. Make it look like it was stroked on. And in some places for the armor, just roughen it up a bit. It's texture. We're pretty much going to do the same thing for all of the heads of Orochi and their armor. For the skin of the Orochi, what I'm going to do is I'm going to first start out with a coolish gray. That's going to apply to all of the skin. And then I'm going to go over it with somewhat of a purple color. At the same time, while you're doing this, you definitely want to make things rough. Yet at the same time, you want to make sure that you're shading it correctly to match the rest of the drawing, as the light is coming from the shrine. And that applies to all of the skin on Orochi except for the underbelly, which instead of doing gray and purple, we're going to do gray and some red. Then for the spikes on their backs, or their scales that stick up, I guess, these are just to be colored in or inked in with the fine point Sharpie. So now I'm going to add in those lighting effects like I said I would for the characters. What I'm basically going to do is I'm just going to take the color of their emblem and just sort of color around them like that. Now the last thing I'm going to do to finish up this drawing is I'm going to give it a fiery red background. Be lots of very hot colors in the background, especially around the shrine, mostly centered around the shrine here. Around the guy who seems to be the element of light, we're just sort of going to blend the red close to him, but not quite around him as much as the others. He sort of casts light. This guy's gonna have it blended into him as well, because he's sort of more shadowy. And then to finish off this background, I'm going to start blurring it into some black. Just gonna finish off the dark appearance. It's really going to bring it all together and make it seem even darker. And this is my finished drawing of Orochi. This was the most challenging drawing I've drawn in a while. It was insanely detailed. The coloring was insane as well. But it was also really fun to do. It took forever, but it's just awesome. I really like how this drawing turned out. If you guys like the drawing, you should subscribe. That way you guys will be notified if I upload any more drawings, because I'm still planning on uploading drawings even now. And if you want to send me a request, just go to my channel, type in a request in the request area moderator module thing, and it just might show up as a tutorial of its own someday. Thank you guys for watching this video, and until next time, keep on drawing.